Today I want to touch on what's going on there in Frederick, Maryland. The CDC has now shut down Fort Detrick. Let's find out what Fort Detrick is and what it's all about. Fort Detrick is research into deadly viruses and biological weapons at the U.S. Army lab was shut down over fears they could escape.
So it's this article from Global Research, right? And it's this TV Asahi is reporting the origins, and comes from the China People's Daily television show. And the key thing was that there's 5 strains that have been found with this epidemiological information, but it's only in the United States. The locus where the virus started would have been, the virus would have had all 5 strains if it emanated from there and fanned out across the world. But in this case, we only have 3 strains in China, and we have 5 strains here in the United States. Now, is that Fort Detrick? Remember, Fort Detrick is the same place where the anthrax virus was in 2001. That was kind of the justification to go into the Afghan war, right? The 9/11 was the justification to go into the Afghan war. So that was immediately followed by a virus attack or a bacteria attack with anthrax. Now we have the same sort of thing happening with a virus attack. And if it emanated from Fort Detrick, again, that's our weapons lab here in Maryland. And it was closed in September, the juice of the report. And you see here, there's a color coding system on this map. Okay, the color coding system is one color for each different type of coronavirus. Okay, here are the corona groups. Okay, there's, I think, 29 have been identified and sequenced. So this, unlike the AIDS virus and others where there wasn't a genetic sequence, this is very unusual that it was so quick that it had been sequenced. And so what you can see here is Group C is the one in red. That is the predominant release here near the Wuhan area up here. And there is a couple of other virus colors here for Group B, right? And then you have green here, just starting out, a little tiny bit of green with Group A, and a little tiny bit of yellow. But you don't have all 5 colors here. The only place you have that is in the United States. Now we need to drill down further on that to see if this is Fort Detrick or not, or if it's in a weapons lab, a related DTR weapons lab, which I believe is going to be Fort Hood. Now the reason I say it's Fort Hood is because Matya's husband, who is named Matt, married to Matya, also was in Wuhan right before the outbreak, October 20th before the outbreak, also is a cyclist, and also was stationed at Fort Hood at one point. So I don't know how DTRA works, but I believe it's Frederick, Maryland for the development. For the deployment, I believe he was at Fort Hood. So it might not be related at all, but it could be related, and that's why we're presenting the information. Again, this is to encourage people to come forward and interview and say, hey, I wasn't in Wuhan. I'm not a cyclist. I wasn't in the military games. That you got the wrong guy. Your reporting is incorrect. I believe our reporting is correct.
Members of Congress, the President of the United States.